what you see now, but there are different kinds of architecture on these walls. For example, you can see this is on the platform of the temple that you will find these friezes that run alongside the wall, the platform. You see, when you're having these temples are built on platforms, and one such platform that you see along the sides is a frieze of a procession that is taking place. And you'll find animals, you'll find musicians, and this is
This
a
is a
very interesting part of Khajuraho, the temples that you see in Khajuraho. It's quite
this is a
common.
war scene. What you are looking, there is a battle are marching to the war.
War battle, correct?
Yeah, so there are numbers of animals they use, and basic animal being used: horses, elephant, and camel. And infantry walk first, and then all other animal walk behind. So this is a battle procession. They are marching to the battlefield.
Yes. Thank you. This is one another kind of architecture that I was talking to you about. And
Yeah.
Khajuraho is so full of very intricate and such beautiful architecture that often you have to go again and again to see and explore the beauty. This is one more picture that we are taking again of the Kandariya Mahadev temple.
Right,
And
sir.
Mr. Anup Jain will agree with me, or rather he informed me yesterday that, these are small peaks, and then you have the large peak of Mount Kailash or Mount Meru. So
Yeah.
what you see, the protruding style is that you see the smaller, they are supposed to represent the smaller peaks. Is it correct, Mr. Jain?
Exactly, sir. Exactly.
Yeah, and you find as you go higher and higher, as you reach the top,
Yeah.
to the top of the peak, which is also the top of the Vimana, or the main, the main Vimana is what it's normally called. And
Yeah.
these are the characteristics of the Khajuraho group of temples.
Right, sir.
This is just a group of musicians. I'm sorry, there is a small this thing that's coming in front, but anyway, this is musicians performing. You can see
Yeah.
the drum set, you can see um, some kind of musician, there's some found of dance forms. This is also very commonly seen in the temples of Khajuraho.
Yeah. They are offering their music to the god.
Yes, yes. And this is one of the finest carvings of Khajuraho, and Mr. Jain will explain more to you about it.
This is a third incarnation of Lord Vishnu. I mean the Avatara, Varaha Avatara, third wild boar form. It is a monolithic piece of sandstone. One single piece of sandstone, 10 ton, is the weight of one piece of sandstone, where the 674 different Hindu deities has been beautifully depicted surrounding by this boar. When the Vishnu went to the kill a demon king Hirnaksha, these all deities collectively collect his power because this demons was so powerful. So Vishnu needs some extra and additional power, and they all contribute their power to the Lord Vishnu, and he became a huge power, and he went into the ocean. Obviously, the Hirnaksha has been stolen this earth and disguised in the mudland, and the inhabitants on the earth, they pray to the Lord Vishnu to rescue them. So Vishnu went to the mudland and he killed the demon there and rescued the earth on his tusk and re-established on a Nagas. So this operation has been completed by him as a Varaha avatar, one and only of the world, this magnificent piece of art, and one beautiful monolithic piece of sandstone. This is sandstone.
Thank you, Mr. Jain. Yes, I think this is a very interesting piece and
Yeah.
quite unlike, but it's so detailed. And as you mentioned, it's done on one piece of stone, a monolithic stone that you talk
Yeah.
about. This is yet another representation that you see. All the pillars are very different. I just want to tell you something about the windows that are there on the side. These are the windows that let in the light. And what happens is that through these windows, the light, these are open windows, a lot of light comes into the inner part of the temple. And there is a great interplay of light and darkness inside these temple complex, inside these temples. And this natural lighting actually enhances the whole atmosphere inside. gives a lot of sunlight as well as provides a lot of fresh air. So you think,
Exactly,
when
sir.
you go to see everything was thought about when they built these very beautiful, magnificent temples.
Also, sir, these all balconies are with a cross ventilation system.
Correct,
So you won't be suffocated inside the temple.
correct. And
And sir, these wall of the temple are meter and half or 2 meter thick. So when the temperature exceeding up to the 46 up to the 50 degrees Celsius, you will find at least 8 to 10 degrees difference of temperature inside the temple.
okay,
So you can live without any problem rather than outside.
correct. In fact, what happens is that in the northern style of temples, the worship that takes place between the devotee and the creator is always a one-to-one relationship. It's almost one-to-one. So the
Right.
space is quite narrow at the end.
Yeah.
Is that correct, Mr. Jain?
Exactly, sir. You are absolutely right.
Yes. So the this ventilation is very useful, and cross ventilation, as Mr. Jain says, is unique to this particular these temple styles. Then I will go to the next slide. Again, here we see this a procession. Now there is a procession. What is this procession, Mr. Jain? Can you tell us a little bit?
Again, sir. Again, they are marching on to the war. It's a battle procession.
Okay. So war was also considered an integral part of, it happened all the time over the centuries. People have seen wars, and it is
Ba-
representative.
they were quite often busy on war because they always keep the desire to improve or conquer other territories.
Correct.
So
So
they have to be ready all the time for the war, and as a strong battle they can keep with in their territory, they feel as
correct,
good and as nice. So that is war scene what you are seeing here.
correct. Thank you. This is just yet another scene that we have seen. We have discussed these things, but I just want to show you some of the architectural styles, some of the scenes from daily life that you will see here. And, it is so magnificent. I was talking to Mr. Jain and I was talking to him about the headgear that
Yeah,
both the men and the women had of those time. And if you see these pictures, you will find that everyone has headgear.
yeah,
And headgear is something that is not so common today, but 2000 years ago, or 10,000 years ago, it was very common. It was, it was one of the uniqueness of many of our different dynasties that we have seen from Indian dynasties in particular. Can you tell us a little bit about the headgear, Mr. Jain?
well, the temple what you are looking on the slides, there is a mixture of everyday life headgear or common way of living. And what I find or figured out myself, that's representing the prosperous era of that period, sir.
Correct,
When
correct,
you can
correct,
when you can see every sculpture, it's very well ornated. It means
correct,
they are representing they were very prosperous in those days.
correct,
And but you will find there are some sculpture less ornated.
correct.
It means the difference of was there, or you can see
Hierarchy, correct,
hierarchy was there. So you can see the clear vision. This
correct.
slide will show you the headgear of those that period.
Absolutely. Thank you. And also many people want the armband or the wristband and the anklets.
Ex-
So it was
exactly, sir.
fascinating. We never see it
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah,
This is a picture that Mr. Jain was describing at the start at the Eastern Temple. Here you have the lady who's putting on the anklet. And as he mentioned before, a dance performance. And you can see it quite clearly that she's being helped by her assistant. And
and
sorry,
sir, sir, this is the iconic figure of this temple where I am sitting next to.
correct, correct. This
Yeah,
is very iconic, absolutely.
yeah,
And it is so very well done. These are like
yeah,
masterpieces. And,
yeah,
if you see the picture of the dancer, she's also
yeah,
having a small smile on her face.
Definitely.
Yeah, this is the beauty of the architecture, the carving, and the sculptures. You will also notice small differences. There are some people who are smiling. There are some who are serious.
And and another fact of this, the emotions with jewelry of women
Correct.
representing by this sculpture. So how uh, uh, interested from thousands of years ago, women with jewelry, they always love to have their ornamentation. And
Absolutely.
whenever their ornamentation take a place, they will be very delighted on it. So you can see the dazzling smile on her face.
Correct. That is very perfect. In fact, you notice
Yeah,
it so clearly here.
yeah,
That's so fascinating. In fact,
yeah.
here we have the three images that Mr. Anup Jain already explained at the start.
Yeah.
You could tell us a little bit about these statue to the extreme right, Mr. Jain?
You can see there is a lady applying the eye makeup on her eyes,
Correct.
and one other hand holding the mirror to look herself in the mirror, and that is one of the apsara, one of the finest apsaras. Move to the next one to your left. There you can see the this image which I told you, the story of Sardul. That is the image of Sardul. And next one is a divine couple, Vishnu with his wife Lakshmi. As I told you, the women's always they care for their beauty. You can see the Lakshmi even holding a mirror, piece of mirror in her hand, and one other hand is a lotus flower with the
Correct.
amorous postures of Lord with Lord Vishnu.
Correct. This is a small shrine. Actually, this is not a temple. This is that I think this is with the figure of the Nandi bull and faces the temple.
Nandi Bull is, and this is the in front of Lord Vishwanath temple. His Lord Shiva vehicle Nandi, huge Nandi, 12 ton, is a weight of one monolithic block of sandstone, and that is his official transport. Always be ready whenever Shiva want to go somewhere. They use Nandi as his transport. So always anywhere in this country you can go. If you find Shiva temple, must be Nandi temple there.
Correct. It's common all over India. Actually, many parts of India have these temples. Nandi rather.
Very much
Correct.
common, sir.
Very much common.
Yeah,
And this is the back part of the Lakshmana temple. Mr. Jain, this is one of the finest
exactly right,
temples.
sir.
Would you like
One
to
of
add
the
something on
very
the architecture?
finest, one of the very finest temple for the sculpture point of view. If you are talking about the architectural point of view, Kandaria Mahadev is better than this. But the quality of sculptures, what we had in this temple, no temple has better than this. And all this balconies all around and canopy above the balconies is very much intact. And for eight side decorated with a small elephant. You can see the couple of elephant are still visible, and the cross ventilation system, the example, D'Souza sir,
Yes, sir.
example of cross ventilation system.
Correct.
This temple has far better than any other temple.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, this is the temples that you see in the sound and light show. Just these are not, when you see temples at night, they won't look as good as they look during the day.
Yeah.
But these are
This
sound
is
and light shows that they have at the Khajuraho group of temples. And I was witnessing them. And sometimes the story of the Chandela dynasty or the story of how these temples were built can be seen.
this is a Vishwanath temple, and next to the Vishwanath temple is a small Parvati temple. So Shiva temple, next is a Parvati temple.
Okay. This is another temple here we are seeing.
This is Devi Jagdambi temple from the far vision during the sound and light show.
Okay, this is just an evening sound and light show. You see, sometimes you also have, what do you do in the evenings? At Khajuraho, they have the Dances of India.
Right.
And they have it at a local auditorium. As you know, Khajuraho is a very small town. In fact, it's a village, in fact.
Yeah.
And they have this Dances of India program. Very interesting for people to come in the evenings and spend the evening at this particular 1 hour long dance and music festival. Here you see another image as well. Have they begun the dances now, Mr. Jain, or it's stopped?
Sir, because of this COVID pandemic, most of all this magnificent shows has been spoiled over 8 months or so on, and I have no idea when it will be begin again.